Day 73 of social isolation. The boobly runs low, as does my patient.
That's why I don't open a tab at bars. Welcome to Bonus Experience.
Welcome to Bonus Experience, Monica.
Yeah.
Are you wiggling your microphone a lot?
I'm just incapable of sitting still.
Oh, okay. It sounds sort of like someone's got like a big saw behind you and is like wiggling it, like they're trying to make thunder sounds.
Okay, here, let me...
Ooh, wow.
Okay, so what I think was happening was I was just sort of generally fidgeting.
Okay.
And it was causing the headset I have around the bottom of my mic stand to move.
Oh,
and
okay.
that surely was rattling the mic arm and
That must
making
have
that
been
thunder
it.
sound. Because do you hear it anymore?
I don't.
Okay.
And I just
Also,
realized
like,
that
whenever I hit the table...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an audio experience for sure. I realized I don't have my fidget cube in here, but I do have a tin of thinking putty. So
Okay.
here we go.
Alright, I'm gonna try to...
Oh.
What?
Huh?
I was just gonna say I'm gonna try to, like, lean back and not smack the table and
Oh, okay.
hold my glass of wine with both hands.
Oh, okay.
Do my best to not...
Do that?
Yeah, not do that!
This is a podcast with a deeper look at the play experience and the finer details of running and writing games.
We are queer women speaking with authority about games.
Yes, we swear.
Die
mad
mad
about
about
it.
it.
Oh,
Very good.
we
Very
did
good.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Monica, Exalted Essence mechanical developer.
I'm Ray, Exalted Essence mechanical developer.
Wait a second.
Right?
No.
No?
I mean, designer, sure.
Ah, I'm Ray, Exalted Essence mechanical designer.
Yeah, you worked on some mechanical design stuff.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about killing people.
I hope we mean killing characters.
Yes. I definitely mean characters.
While killing your players is both illegal and morally objectionable, we're going to talk about whether or not you should go full George R. R. Martin on your players' characters.
Yes, they're characters.
They're characters.
And not them at all.
No.
We already did the episode on shitty players.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't advise murdering them then.
No, I don't think we talked about killing them.
No, not an option.
Don't eat them, don't kill them, don't light them on fire.
Nope, don't do
There's other ways to deal with it. Which is actually the theme of this episode, is there's other ways to deal with it. So, Monica, should you? This is you wrote this so weird. Let's talk about expectations.
I'm sorry you had time to fix it.
I did have time to fix it. Let's talk about how expectations play into whether or not you should kill characters.
Okay. I've heard plenty of GMs talk about how this game is lethal, and if characters die, then they die. Which, I suppose is a certainly fine way to approach a game. But, and it's a big but,
Big old butt.
a big old butt, you need to be setting that as an expectation beforehand. Which is why Session 0 is important.
So important, y'all.
Yeah, go listen to our Session 0 episode. Go, shoot. Get out of here. Go. Pause the episode. Listen. Come back. Are you back? Thanks.
Okay, so.
All right, cool. Springing this on your players without setting an expectation beforehand is, what's the word?
Shitty?
Yeah, shitty.
Right. So that said, I personally feel like it's okay if it's sort of left as a gray area, as long as people are clear that it's possible their character could die. Expect that terrible decisions or luck could kill your character after a warning or two is a perfectly fine expectation to set. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. But that's not any different than what I said, which is basically set up the expectation that this might happen.
Right. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be your character will never die, or your character could die at any moment.
Oh,
you can always be
right.
like, you might die, try not to die. I don't want to die, or I don't want to kill you, don't give me a reason to kill you.
Right, the game can be try not to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game could be I won't kill you, because that's boring, which is what we'll get into.
We'll get into that.
So, let's talk about how a storyline could affect whether you should or shouldn't kill characters.
All right. Okay, so personally, I always think character death is the most boring consequence for actions. But,
boring!
In that, I guess I'm a snob? Whatever, I'm good with being a snob.
No, man. Fucking killing a character is so boring.
Also, I don't know, half the fun of running games for me is making plotlines for people, so disrupting this by killing off a character is actively undermining my own fun. But, your mileage may vary.
Right. Obviously, I agree. There's almost always something more interesting than dying. There's usually going to be a much more interesting consequence than your character hits 0 hit points and now you have to make a new character. You could take their stuff away. You could change their stuff in major ways. You could introduce new terrible stuff to torment them with. Different systems, different not Dungeons and Dragons systems will give you a myriad of tools for hitting that fun pain button. Like flaws.
Hitting that fun pain button.
Like not flaws, like troubles in Fate. Mm-hmm. Your players listed out right there. Like, wouldn't this be the worst thing that could happen to my character if my trouble like blew up to an enormous proportion? Like, Fate also has like consequences, like as actual fill in the blanks that you could write in for something terrible that happened to their character. Then there's Blades in the Dark, which gives you like 3 or 4 different ways to keep your character from actually taking damage and dying. And they range into like crazy shit, like your character overindulged in the shit that stupefies them, and now they're like lost for a session and you have to play some up-jumped NPC for a while. I totally did that. It was great. Sometimes the story or the genre or the game itself calls for higher chances of killing your PCs as opposed to facing other consequences.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if it fits the genre, sure. Because, like, it would be, I suppose, this matters a lot for, like, a horror game.
Yes, absolutely it does.
Yeah, I mean,
but then again, you only get to die once.
Right.
So you don't want to come into it with, this is a lethal game that will kill your character within the first scene if you're not careful, because then what the fuck is that player gonna do? Do you have another character for them to play in this horror game? It also takes the mystery out of it if they die right away. It's like, okay, well now we know exactly what will happen and how it will happen because we just saw it happen to somebody.
Yeah, we'll get into timing and pacing and stuff like that a little bit more too.
Right. We've been talking about PCs. Yeah. How do we feel about killing NPCs? Specifically, we the GMs, not the player characters killing NPCs.
Right. I mean, player characters killing NPCs is sort of what they're here
That's
for.
par for the course. That's what they're best at.
Right. Well, it depends on the game. But that is a topic for another time. So, like, I'd kind of love to have something funny and pithy to say here, but sure, I guess. I mean, just
okay.
beware. Yeah, just beware of hard feelings if a player has a vendetta against a recurring villain, or perhaps more importantly, of fucked up tropes like killing your gays or fridging characters. Just also remember that you're running a game, not writing a novel. Your brilliant story ideas, they kind of don't matter.
See, I don't know if this is me differing from you or if I'm just taking a different tack with this, but I think sometimes NPCs exist to die. I'm thinking specifically of games like Monster of the Week, where your NPCs can have the victim archetype, where like their whole point and their whole motivation is to be in danger. And also an NPC is a good way to illustrate the stakes to your player characters. NPCs make really good canaries in the coal mine. The bad shit that could happen to the players, if it happens to that NPC, then the player knows like, oh shit, that could have been me. You do, of course, have to beware of using NPCs that are effectively part of a player's stuff in this way. Like if they've purchased it with merit points, or if this is someone in one of their aspects. Like, you really don't want to fuck with them like this. You can't just start killing NPCs left and right that are tied to your players.
Yeah, you also gotta be really careful not to kill off an NPC someone is attached to and has not purchased with points. Because that is a really quick way to violate someone's trust and straight up ruin someone's enjoyment of a game.
Again, unless this is part of the expectation for the game or the genre.
Right. I mean, even if you put
anyone could be a target as part of your expectation. It's like, well, I did warn you.
Even if you do that, if people are really, like, let's say we're playing a horror game and people are really attached to the, like, plucky mortal investigator who you had intended to just get eaten by the monster in the first scene, and everybody was like, I love this gremlin, they are ours. Maybe you should kill someone else then. Like, no, I mean that, because if you can really take people out of the game by killing off their favorite NPC. Like, just don't do that. Just don't do that. Like, their enjoyment is more important than your story. Find a new red shirt to get ganked.
I would argue that you should constantly dangle that NPC over the shark pit without ever actually dropping them in.
Right.
Because if they're that invested in that NPC, you absolutely have to fuck with that NPC. Don't kill them. Don't, like, ruin them. But put them in danger.
Yeah, that character is then a bus ticket. Like an instant bus ticket.
Fun
you also
pain.
have to be really careful when you dangle them over the shark pit that you don't provoke someone into rabid player behavior. Have you ever encountered this? Maybe I just have run
the rabid player behavior.
Yeah, where someone gets really keyed up over something bad happening to their guy or, like, their party member, and then they will do nothing but hyper-focus on trying to get even.
Oh.
Has that ever happened to you? Like, someone who's not really playing a violent or lethal character or whatever, like, something happens, they get mad because, like, their favorite character or whatever got threatened or whatnot, and then all of a sudden they're kill fuck soul shitter and they want nothing to do but to get revenge.
Like,
on
you
the
fucked
person.
with mine, now I'll fuck with yours.
Yeah.
I've encountered that, actually.
What?
I haven't encountered that, but I think I may have just been lucky.
And it's not really a disruptive behavior. It's just like, and because I've actually seen this from players who are not problem people. Like,
I don't know, maybe that was just something they thought would be interesting to play out. Like, this character was a nice guy, and then you fucked with theirs, and now there will be consequences.
This person has often been Henry, too.
I
mean, I've seen other people do it, but this person is often Henry. Yeah, Henry will agree. We'll accept this call. On that note, I think it's time to take a mid-episode break.
Yeah, I've been working really hard. Squishing this putty and drinking vodka. Let's take a break.
All right, let's take a break.
BXP and the mid-episode break room are brought to you by the Misdirected Mark Network.
Ding! Hey, become a patron. Check us out at patreon.com/bonusexperience. All sorts of tiers, but our $10 a month patrons get to help us shape our show by weighing in on important decisions.
Yeah, the all sorts of tiers range from $1 up to $10. Just throw in however much you like, and and we say thank you, and
we do.
Great, and it lets us buy, like, microphones and shit. Like, I have to buy another headset because my youngest has decided that he likes my headset the best after he broke his last one. So we've basically been sharing a headset.
Okay.
And then he was like, so now with, like, the bonuses coming in this year, can you buy me a new headset for my gaming? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And he was like, how about you buy me exactly the same one that you have? I was like, yeah, it's okay, I can do that. How about I just keep the one that you have right now, and then you buy yourself something new? I was like, all right, sure, we can do that. So, thank you, patrons, for buying my youngest a new headset.
Contribute to the buy Ia new headset fund.
He's been really gentle with headsets since he broke the last two. I threatened him, like, pain of, I take your PlayStation away if he breaks this headset, because it's the only one I have and it's important for my work. And he's been really good about it. He's been very responsible.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
BXP is sponsored by Nerdy Keppy. Go to nerdykeppy.com. That's NERDYKEPPIE. Use code BXPcast at checkout for 10% off your entire order. No limit on how many times you can use this code. You can use BXPcast as many times as you want to get 10% off of your order. Buy all kinds of cool Pride swag. Nerdy Keppy is the coolest fucking site on the internet, and we're just giving you blanket 10% off just for listening to our podcast. How great is that?
It's very great.
And support them.
Support them, please.
Support queer small business owners.
Do it.
Do it.
Also, saying nice things is always free. Leave us a good review on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google. We're now on Spotify.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I got us on Spotify.
Hey, all right, we're on Spotify.
Yeah, we're finally on fucking
Check
Spotify.
That out.
Yeah.
The year warlord 2020, finally on Spotify.
Finally on Spotify. Wherever you listen, give us a good review and help us get more listeners. Make the algorithm like us.
Yeah.
That's actually really helpful.
Yes. Oh, also, as always, we have a Redbubble store with merch.
Yeah.
T-shirts, stickers, mugs, notebooks, more. Look for bonus experience. Don't we have a swag site?
Yeah, we have a swag site. It's on our website.
Yeah, what's the URL though? It was like really simple. It's like bxpcast.com/swag. Swag.
I think it might be BXP swag.
BXP swag.
I don't remember.
Whatever. Go to our website.
Yeah.
Go to the click on the give us money.
You can also
we have to update that with our new products.
We really do need to.
Because that's also, like, beyond our merch, we also list the things that we have literally made for gaming companies that you could purchase with money.
Yeah.
Like, published items that have our names on them, because we're devs and designers.
Correct.
In some order.
Yes. And we have an affiliate code, so if you just click on the link from the website, you actually give us a tiny little bit of money every time you buy them. Yeah.
It's starting to add up. Monica, do you want to know how much we have?
Is it $2?
$3.
$3?
We have $3 whole.
I'm so proud of our $3 whole.
I know!
That means someone bought a whole ass book.
Yeah! Right?
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever you are.
Buy just one book with our affiliate code, and we get fucking psyched. Buy that book that you've been thinking of while using our affiliate code, and one day you'll hear me go, Monica jumped up to $6.
Yeah, you should go buy a print-on-demand copy of Trinity Continuum or Scion 2nd Edition.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Buy the Scion Jumpstart. Monica and I wrote that.
Yeah. Yeah, give us like 20 cents.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway. If you like bonus experience, Monica thinks you'll also like.
She's a super geek. She's a Super Geek is an Emmy-nominated actual play RPG podcast highlighting women as GMs. Join them every other Tuesday for lots of different RPGs and guests.
They've got an Emmy nomination. That's so fucking cool.
They do.
Senda's
Someday
awesome.
we will too.
When are we going to play with Senda?
I don't know when we need to play with...
We've known Senda for over a year now.
I've known her for longer than that.
Why?
And we haven't. We should.
She doesn't
Senda.
like us. She doesn't like us.
Call me.
Senda, I know you hate me. I will passive-aggressive at you, Senda.
Senda doesn't hate you.
Senda.
Margaret, cut that out.
Senda. I'm leaving the break room. I'm going to She's a Super Geek. I'm going to throw Lucky Charms marshmallows at Senda's head.
Please don't do this.
Senda!
Okay. Well, all right. She's left. I guess we better... Okay. Back to the show.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
I think I just got Lucky Charms marshmallows stuck in one of her cats.
Oh no.
It's okay, they like it.
Okay, alright, well.
They'll go give themselves a bath and find a little surprise. It's a purple moon. Purple moon? Yellow moon. Purple horseshoes.
Yes.
Yellow moon.
Blue moons.
Blue moons.
Yeah, because they're rare and lucky. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Heart, stars, and rainbows, horseshoes, and blue moons. Something, pots of gold and something and red balloons.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway.
Let's
talk about how making new characters might affect your decision to kill player characters.
So, my concern with the attitude about how lethal your game should be often ties into how much of a colossal pain in the dick it is to make a new character in the system you're running. So if making a new character is quick and easy and isn't exactly punishing someone with homework for whatever mistake or bad role landed them in the position of having a dead character, then whatever.
Yeah. I personally wouldn't dream of running a meat grinder style game without a fucking stack of pre-mades for the players to draw from. I mean, there's ways around this. Like, you could temporarily elevate an NPC for the dead player to control until they make a new player character. Or some systems let you play as ghosts or undead. That might be kind of fun if you wanted to play like the ghost of your D&D bard or whatever. But yeah, if we're specifically, and I feel like a lot of this leans pretty heavy on D&D, because as far as D&D is concerned, the worst thing that can happen to your character is you run out of hit points and then fail all your death saves.
I mean, this also covers a lot of other pretty traditional games too. I mean, like, our Pathfinder is also just basically D&D wearing a different hat. So is Shadow of the Demon Lord, but it also covers things like Warhammer Fantasy, the 40k games. Through the Breach 2 also has basically, like, character death is the end point. What happens when you run out of hit points? You're dead. So, like, though you can be an undead after that, though, if your GM
Which
lets
is
you.
rad.
Yeah.
Like, if I like died in a Blades game and then my GM was like, you can play your ghost now, I'd be so psyched about that. That'd be awesome.
I mean, truly, even in Fate and Blades, your character can still die.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's not considered. In Blades, you can die. There's actually like a oops, you died. In Fates, it's like, it's sort of assumed that it's just on the list of possible consequences, not like, uh-oh, you might die, but like, well, you know, something's going to happen to you. You have to decide what that is with your GM. But yeah, I mean, but these are also games where it's pretty quick to make your new character.
Yeah, that's true.
So if I was playing a meat grinder, say, Scum and Villainy, which would be weird, what would that look like?
I don't know, what would that look like?
Would that be like Battlefield Earth? What would that look like? Again, that's pretty quick and simple to make your character in systems like Scum and Villainy. It takes like maybe 10 minutes. So it wouldn't be like a huge deal. But then you're also shortchanging a lot of the really cool narrative effects of that game by saying, oops, you died really quickly and easily. Make another character with a whole bunch of narrative abilities that won't necessarily come into play because you're going to die within 2 scenes.
Yeah, I mean, Dungeon Crawl Classics does this too. And so do, like, the old White Wolf games.
Old White Wolf games. I remember old White Wolf games being difficult and lethal in the sense that terrible consequences could be levied against you pretty unexpectedly, but I don't think I ever died in an old White Wolf game.
I mean, the old White Wolf game that I played the most of was Exalted. It is it is either super easy or super hard to die in old Exalted.
I was thinking of like Changeling and Werewolf.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of like Changeling and Werewolf and Hunter and the old world of darkness. Vampire. Actually, it's probably pretty hard to die in Vampire. I don't know.
I'm already dead.
Yeah, and they're pretty tough.
Yeah, vampires are pretty tough.
Yeah, but like there was still sort of a death is the final consequence kind of deal there. Like, it is a traditional game problem. It is not just the D&D problem.
Fuck, even if your character died in a Forged in the Dark game, death wouldn't stop you from playing necessarily. You could play out through flashbacks.
Right. Yeah, it's a traditional game problem.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I want to play a dead guy in one of those games now. I want to play a dead spider. Oh my god.
You've upgraded from the spider who's in jail the whole time to
the
spider
who's dead. Spider who's been dead and planned this all out years in advance. Oh my god.
And the whole game's just a flashback.
Yes! The whole game is me paying stress to be like, my spider knew this was going to happen this way and planted a cache for you right here. Months before their death, they did this for you. Oh, fuck!
It would be really cool to do a Blades game as a framed narrative and tell it in reverse, where, like, the opening scene is, like, the spider is dead, like, the cutter is in jail, or whatever, and then like everybody's fates happen, and then you play the game backwards.
Oh man. See, sometimes death isn't the worst thing that can happen to your character.
Yeah.
There's always so many more interesting things. So, this is where I ran out of outline.
Okay.
Let's talk about how my voice is starting to go. Let's talk about how removing people from play could affect your decision to kill player characters.
This is filed under my category of why maybe you shouldn't kill characters. So I put this on the outline after the is it a pain to make a new character question because they go together. If it is a pain, then you're removing someone from play for at least the rest of the session.
Right.
And of course that depends on how early this happens in the session, but a lot of traditional games have combat sequences, those instances in which a character is most likely to die, that can take a long-ass time and just leave someone bored and disengaged.
Yeah.
And while, they might ultimately find their character death an interesting turn of events, it's pretty likely they'll be bored out of their skull if it knocks them out early. And the point of showing up at your friend's house for game night is to play. And I'm pretty much against anything that stops people from playing.
Right. And a lot of people have come up with have them play a monster or have them play an NPC. But the thing is that requires some bit of premonition on the GM's part. Like, I think someone's going to die in this session. Because I don't know about y'all, but I don't create GM-facing characters using player character sheets. So I could very well say, oh, shit, your dude died. Okay, I'm going to let you play this mini-boss for the rest of the session. I don't have a character sheet for that mini-boss. I have a couple of notes on, like, modifiers or dice pools. So, again, that's kind of a pain. Like, I have to really quick gin something up that the player will understand that they can play this character from before they can rejoin the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait.
Hmm?
Are we saying a GM should fudge rolls or other things to avoid character death?
No, imaginary bad faith actor.
Ah, you got me.
I'm saying that perhaps you should consider that even as an option at all. We'll refer to the lowest common denominator. D&D.
D&D.
What if what happens instead is that they're unconscious or captured or teleported to another part of the dungeon and they have to think their way out of new puzzles, or they lose all their gear and have to reappear at the beginning of the thing and catch back up with everyone.
That's in what's that one?
What one?
The Tomb of Everybody Dies.
Horrors.
Yes. There's a trap that's literally, like, it teleports you to one location and it teleports all your gear to another location. It's great. It's honestly really, like, oh, okay. Like, at least you're not dead.
Right. I just mean, like, that's a house rule you can implement at the beginning of any D&D game where you're like, 0 hit points doesn't mean you're dead. It means I get to fuck with you. Like,
well, 0 hit points doesn't mean you're dead.
Right.
You have to reach 0 hit points and then fail 3 death saves.
As of 4th edition onward, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so you could even do away with 3 death saves if you're going, well, there's no character death in this game. Once you reach 0 hit points, you could also have that be just like, you're in a bad spot and you can no longer resist narrative consequences. Or anything to present the player with something interesting, different, and fun than just, your character is dead after your 3 failed death saves. Hang the sheet up, put the sheet in your folder, hang it on the wall, burn it, whatever it is you do to deal with the catharsis, and roll something else up.
Yeah.
Do your homework.
So, as alternatives to just straight up killing your character, obviously there's a lot of other things you can do that are more interesting, as we've come up with. You could also, if you really are like, no, but I want characters to die, I want death as stakes, I feel like that, lights a fire under their asses, please don't have it happen in the middle of the session, because you'll catch someone unprepared and they won't be able to play for the rest of the session while they're trying to make their new guy. It's going to be a real pain. How about if they do die in combat, you pull a fucking Fire Emblem on them. And at the end of the session, you discuss with this player how their character will end up dying between sessions, so that they have time to make a new character on their own time, and they can come back to the next session with this cool and dramatic way that their character is actually going to die in a way that they like want, as opposed to a kobold got a really lucky hit on you. And then they show up with like, and here's their long lost twin who also happens to be an elven bard. And then you fucking roll with it.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that I've heard some people have a good house rule for like old school D&D games where you don't leave the scene until the end of the fight, even if your character is dead. So you get to finish playing, basically. And
then that's like the everyone catches up and realizes like, oh shit, there's 4 arrows in Boromir. I think this fool's gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever had any cool character death?
Honestly, I don't think I've ever died in a game. I don't think I've killed someone in a game. I'm trying to think, because I'm so like we've gone
against
over
this.
like I don't like I think it's always more interesting to have a character survive a trauma than have them die.
Yeah.
I think in a one shot that I ran for friends, someone got really unlucky and died. And I was like, whoops. And I had to, like I said, like gin up a sheet for one of the villains and say, okay, this is you now. But it was a one shot with friends, and they were all in really good spirits, and it wasn't like a big bummer for anybody. Yeah. And it held like 0 weight, because we all knew that this was just like, I think I randomly created the dungeon. Like there was absolutely no emotional involvement. I don't think I've even had an exalted character die.
I've never had an exalted
I've had characters
PC
become unplayable.
You raced unplayable? No way. No way.
I love making characters unplayable as opposed to dead. And this is another example of things you can do instead of just killing your character. I think my second ever exalted PC was, and this goes back to like my old war stories of like, I had a terrible GM for my first exalted experiences. It's a wonder that I even still like exalted. My Twilight cast, I took a flaw, like one of the flaws you could take in second edition. Was it second edition or first edition?
Definitely first edition.
One of the flaws was called dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a killer flaw. Literally, you would lose a point of stamina every other session or something like that.
I don't think it was that fast.
It was, you drained stamina basically over time. You
lost stamina, and the more dying you were, the faster you drained it.
Right. I thought that was boring, and I asked my GM if instead, as part of my sorcerer's backstory, she had tried to summon a demon and accidentally summoned it like inside her head, and she was losing points of wits instead. And he was cool with that. So I had a character who was like searching for some way to solve this problem she'd saddled herself with. And she ended up making a lot of really terrible deals with demons. And she ended up with a forbidden book that taught forbidden magics and like demon packs and shit. One of those things that like if civilized people would kill you on sight if they found you with it. And through this experience, along this path, she eventually became unplayable because she just became too fucking wrong and evil. And she actually, at that point, became a villain in the game. Like, I knew that this was coming, so it wasn't like out of the blue. I knew at some point, okay, this character's going to be unplayable. This is going to be fun. Let's embrace this. So we knew at what point that was going to happen, and he's like, all right, I'm going to need to take your character sheet now. And it was kind of like this moment of passage, like, I've done it. This is the first time I've made a character unplayable. I ran this one into the ground, and she, like, haunted the party for the rest of the session, or for the rest of the story. It was cool. It was fun.
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I have only ever killed a PC, like, once. And it was in Exalted, and it was by accident, because that could happen.
Oh, no!
And it was in, I ran a, like, Akuma game. I guess that's not a word we should use. Well, it's what they're called. It's not a word we should use, but it
they
is
don't
what
really
they're called.
exist anymore.
They don't. They were all people who had like made pacts with demons, and it was Infernals pre-Infernals, and it was a really good game. But this one character was killed. I don't even remember how. I think it might have been death by Immaculate Monk. And often
that can happen.
It can happen.
Especially with wood style.
Right. And it wasn't that she didn't get her soul ripped out, so it wasn't that, because she was able to come back.
Oh.
Basically, the player didn't really want to make a new character. So, it's fine. You don't have to want to make a new character. Like, that's not a thing you must do. So they were bound to the Ebon Dragon, who basically just like yoinked their soul back and was like, no, you don't know, you are not dead. Whoop. So GM Fiat back to life, which I'm sure some diehard Exalted fans will be mad about, but I don't care.
Each game exists in its own microcosm. I mean, you do what you fucking want.
Yeah, change it if you want to.
Change it if you want to.
Yeah, and I had the only time I think I've ever had a PC die that was not in like a meat grinder or some other like stupid intentionally lethal dungeon crawl classics or let's play basic D&D game was in Dungeon World.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right.
I played like a real beef tanky fighter who was a person of few words, and we had like this big final climactic battle and everybody rolled and I failed. And
oh, no.
Henry was like, well, we could do this, and I was like, no, actually, like, let my character be found dead on top of the pile of corpses that she took out.
All right, that is pretty fucking cool.
Right? Like,
yeah. That's a good example of letting someone take agency over this terrible like final consequence that your character could face.
The rogue had a weird, like, I had at some point gained a spirit mentor because my fighter needed to learn to like fight spirits as part of the plot. And like multiple different death gods, like there's a death god for each direction was also part of it, and so like her spirit guide showed up to be like, all right, well, you're a spirit now, come on, your training's not done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the rogue, because like death being present was part of it, had also gained the ability to like see ghosts and spirits and stuff.
Oh yeah. And
so she like wandered in as a ghost to her own funeral, and the rogue was like, "What was it?" And nobody else could see it. So it was a really good like coda on the end of that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was a very satisfying character death because I was able to own it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, what I'm saying,
other satisfying ends.
Yeah. So anyway, what I'm saying is start from the ground up and consider what is more interesting, then end this plotline, start a new one, and go from there.
Yep.
But sure, if fudging rolls works, whatever, do that.
Sure, if you gotta lie to keep them alive, fucking
right.
Do that.
Yeah. Whatever.
I will never tell. Monica?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I've been better.
Yeah, I feel like we're all in that boat right now.
Yeah, I mean...
we've all been better, I think.
Today...
But it's gonna be better.
Today was a good day.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good day, too, honestly.
I cannot say that for most days this week, but today was a good day.
Yes, yeah. Today was all right. It was my dog's birthday, and I made him dog cookies.
Yeah?
And I got to video call with my sister and my adorable baby niece, who has a very squishy, very heavy head. And my sister has helped to kind of demystify pregnancy and babies for me.
Okay.
Because this is another episode. I have hang-ups when it comes to motherhood. It's a thing. Okay. But my sister is inadvertently helping me by continuing to be her same, like, glamorous goblin self and talking about how her favorite thing is, like, sucking the boogers out of her baby's nose. I'm just like, oh, great. You haven't changed. This hasn't changed you. Where can they find our show?
They can find our show at bxpcast.com, part of the Misdirected Mark Network.
Bing. Where can they email us?
They can email us. I don't know why my brain was just like, no.
That's
it's literally in front of me. What a great question. Where can they email us? They can email us at bonusexpcast@gmail.com.
Excellent. Great. Excellent.
I did
on
it.
That. You've done it.
Thank you.
What about Twitter? Do we have a Twitter?
We do, in fact, have a Twitter, and you can follow us at bonusexpcast.
Ah, look at that. What about you? Do you have a Twitter?
I do. It's at Zenith Sun.
That pause was so good.
Thanks.
That was so good. I do. Well, not that anybody asked, but I also have a Twitter. It's Ray W. Cole now.
Yeah, you've ditched the underscore.
I finally ditched that fucking underscore. Don't be alarmed. It's a W now. That's probably it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we've got a couple of things in the pipe. We're planning for more live shows.
Yeah.
And some events, too. Like, we'd like to do maybe some Jackbox games with y'all, or see if we can set up some other, like, live stream events, or, whatever.
Yeah, we want to bring some togetherness and happiness in this fucking awful time.
Let's all get together and be miserable together and, like, kind of spread it around, like melting butter on toast.
If we spread it around a little bit, it'll thin out, and all of us will feel a little less bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Mm-hmm. That could happen.
I believe it will.
I love all of you, and I hope that you are all safe and loved and understood. And everybody get out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Okay. Let's go.
Change it if you want to.
Change it if you want to.
Bonus Experience is written and produced by Monica and Rai, and edited by Margaret. Our logo and art are by Nino Studios. Check them out on Instagram and Twitter. Our theme song is Reuse Noise with the Light by CDK, and is used under the Attribution Non-Commercial Creative Commons license. Bonus Experience is a part of the Misdirected Mark Network. This podcast is a permanent charm, reducing the difficulty of all storyteller roles by your essence. We'll see you next time.